I hit my first bucket boost last night. All smiles on Up and Adams. So very excited. And I'm saying I won the bucket boost, but it was very clearly Darius Butler that won it. I picked Jimmy Butler. We had a 2-for-1 thing. Thank you to our friends at FanDuel for supporting us on this. He picked Bam, and Bam hit it. Almost didn't, but then did. Okay, we also have safety for the Baltimore Ravens. Marcus Williams on the show. Dalvin Cook dropped. Where will he go? Miami, Denver, Sean Payton, line one. Also joining us today, the host of Beyond the Arc, which you can check out on FanDuel TV, my old friend Kevin O'Connor from NBC Sports Boston, now with The Ringer. It's all in the family here, and we'll start with that breaking news out of the NFL now. This just in. I'm pulling an all-nighter. I'm excited. Listen, we're going to hit all the sports today. We talked a little golf earlier this week. We're talking Conor McGregor. And, with Gotham Chopra, we've got Kevin O'Connor to hook us up with NBA following last night's Game 3 action where Joker, should he not have been the MVP? Will he be the finals MVP? We'll get to all of that with him from The Ringer. But let's start with the NFL because that's where we do our business. That is the meat and potatoes, this thing right here. So let's get to it with the news that the Vikings said, see ya, goodbye, peace, deuces, to the guy who wears number 4. Yep, 4-time Pro Bowl running back Dalvin Cook is out. The move expected to be official on Friday, leaving him to sign with any team after 4 p.m. Eastern. Now, this move we've talked about literally all week. It's been rumored for months now. It started to heat up over the past week. And so really, we asked everyone on our show basically where they think Dalvin should go. Here's a little recap, a think tank, if you will.
Dalvin Cook, he is a Miami kid, Miami Central legend. Broke Miami's heart when he went up to Florida State to decide to play his college ball up there. So this could be kind of a full circle moment for him and his family. Coming down here to Miami.
To go back home, close to home, some good weather. I think he'd like that. I don't think he's like. I don't think that Midwest vibe is for Dalvin. For his entire career.
I think the Dolphins is a good fit. Another fit I think that people probably don't talk about. I think the Kansas City Chiefs. I think that would be a great fit as well. They've never had that home run there at the running back position like him. Pair him with Patrick Mahomes. I think the game gets even easier for him.
What do you think of Denver for Dalvin? I was thinking about it. Javante's coming off an injury, right? So we don't know if he'll be 100%. Sean Payton loves to employ that, high tower, 10 guys, Alvin thing that he's always done for 20 years in New Orleans. And they need to do that, I think, to support Russell. I like Denver for Dalvin.
I would love Denver, actually, now that I think about it. Like you said, it's always running back by committee there. You remember Ingram, obviously, who you had on the show a ton with Kamara. You can have that balance. Javonte Williams does some amazing things with the ball in his hands outside of the backfield as a receiver. Dalvin can as well, but he's really good between the tackles and outside. So that would be a good mix for him.
A lot of love for him in Miami. Mike McDaniel, he can employ lots of guys down there. They drafted a 3rd rounder as well. I brought up Denver just because I know Sean Payton was at my Super Bowl set eyeing up Josh Jacobs. Granted, he led the league in rushing, but you just know Sean wants a running back. How do you help Russell Wilson? We said it all offseason. You get yourself a stud RB. And with the injuries, it sort of makes sense. I started the week in talking about this and helping to, I hope, set the tone for this conversation with the Minnesota part of this. Because it's weird. They're going through this identity crisis transition right now, right? They move on from Dalvin, Zadarius Smith, Adam Thielen, friend of the show, Eric Kendricks, Patrick Peterson this offseason. So Danielle Hunter might be on the trade block as we're hearing. Pick a lane. Are you rebuilding or are you contending? Because how can you, as a 13-4 division winner, look at your fan base going out to those games in their parkas and their hats and stuff, bundling up to support you and get in that building, even though there's a dome on it, I know. How do you look at them in the face and say, yeah, we're in a full rebuild? 'Cause that's what it looks like, right? If it looks like a rebuild and smells like a rebuild, is it? But they're the contender. They should be the favorites, even though the sportsbook, the number one sportsbook, has them, behind the Lions right now. We'll see how this pans out in time. Weird stuff, I think, from the Vikings as a whole on this. When you're 13-4 for the next year to be like, We'll see. Okay, we are almost 2 weeks away from the Cardinals announcement that they will be releasing DeAndre Hopkins. That is how much time has gone by. We were like making mint juleps with Bobby Flay when this news trickled out. It's insane that nothing has happened here. We did get more sort of concrete news yesterday with Tom Pelissero breaking the story that Nuke is going to Nashville on Sunday to visit the Titans. Okay, this is the first confirmed visit since becoming a free agent. And Vrabel, who he knows, of course, confirmed it at his press conference yesterday. Listen to this.
Yeah, well, the first thing is we want players that want to be here. I think we want people that want to be here, and then we'll work through anything else. And so, we brought in a bunch of different players. DeAndre will be somebody that we'll bring in next week, early next week, at the end of this week, and go through the same visit that we go through with everybody, and then start the process.
Vrabel always sort of keeps things close to the vest. I don't have a contact with him. I did not ask him about this, but I did bring this up on Tuesday, the possibility of DeAndre joining the Titans. That's not because I have insider info. It's because it makes sense. It's because there's cute stuff, I call it, that goes on, right? There's history between Nuke and Coach, and that sort of stood out to me. And we dug up this tweet, and we talked about this earlier this week from 2018 when the Titans first hired Vrabel. DeAndre said, quote, "He's a great guy. He's not just a good coach, he's a good guy. He can relate to his players. The Titans are lucky to have him." And then he went into more details about how close that you are on a personal level. So that part of it made sense. It seems like he's someone who will want to be there and sort of meet Vrabel's criteria for each other. Really, both sides could sort of help each other. But more than that, I think the Titans will be aggressive here because they have the need. If we're talking like demand, supply, there's supply and there's demand, right? I think they know they messed up by trading away A.J. Brown. It's okay to admit it. It was not great. And that's probably a lot of the reason, or some of the reason at least, why they decided to say, hey, see ya, great at doing business with you, John Robinson, let's go our separate ways. It was not a good look. It probably wasn't the right move. So they're coming off, and I'm not putting this lightly, like a historic collapse, okay? They had the league's 30th ranked passing offense. They lost 7 straight to end the year. 7 straight. They said, let me take this AFC South crown, gift wrap it, put a bow in it, and basically hand it to the Jags who were at Waffle House celebrating. Like, come on. They also did not address this group of pass catchers much at all in the offseason. And listen to this. They don't return a single player that had over 450 yards receiving in 2022. They did their thing, Vrabel-esque, doing something to the offensive line. Taylor Lewan's, of course, gone. And they do have a quality defense, but this is a piece they need if we're to take them seriously at all in the AFC. And now's the time to go make it happen. The clock is ticking on Derrick Henry, right? That's the other piece that you have to really consider here. It might be their last chance to make a push with this group. So if I'm Vrabel, I'm absolutely doing everything I can to make sure Nuke doesn't leave the building without some sort of deal. He wants a coach. He wants a team that wants to play. He wants a quarterback that wants to win. That's another thing Nuke said. Is that Ryan Tannehill? I don't know, but at this stage in the game, when nobody's answering or calling in 2 weeks, like you have to sort of come to the table and negotiate and see what's up. Also weird that we saw Treylon Burks say, what did he say, that he likes who they have in the building? He was almost like not excited about welcoming DeAndre Hopkins, which I would say I think was weird, sort of flagged my radar of like, what is that? I don't know everything about that. But you'd think if you're alone in a passing offense that was bottom of the barrel in the NFL last year and keeping you from contending or being taken seriously, you would absolutely welcome another wide receiver and try to recruit him to get him in the building. It's all kind of weird. All I'm saying. It's all kind of weird, and I don't like it. We also heard from Mr. McDaniel, guys, out of Dolphins camp yesterday. He had plenty to say about Tua, friend of the show, and his progression this offseason. Take a listen.
It's been really cool in a year's time how he's not only learned the language, but is now fluent in it. It's funny to reflect on some of the areas of concern, so to speak, when I first got here, or just things that were on my radar of, random people saying, okay, well, he's young or whatever. And, I didn't have a complete picture on what type of professional he was, and as we stand right now, I mean, this dude is everything you'd look for in a starting quarterback.
He loves his quarterback, and it's so important to have somebody embrace sort of who he is. It's sort of what I was talking about with Derek Carr yesterday in regards to Michael Thomas. Just say the right things at the podium, gain trust where there needs to be trust, where there might be some insecurity or some tumult or whatever could be potentially, like, handle your well. And Mike McDaniel does that better than anybody in the league. And the discussion of sort of the misconceptions about Tua that were like a black cloud over this organization, I loved that he addressed this, because there is a perception that coach came in and sort of quote unquote fixed Tua. And I do think McDaniel helped him a bunch last year, but we should give Tua his credit. He was told he couldn't throw the ball downfield, okay? That he could not command an offense, that he doesn't have it. And I do think he proved a lot of people wrong. There's a reason they're considered contenders and they could go all the way in the AFC. I'm sure Marcus Williams, who's listening to this, is not going to want to hear that, because he wants his team to do it, and we'll get to him, and we're excited to talk to Marcus. But listen, I'm glad McDaniel takes time out to point that out, because so many people have made it all about him, and it's so easy to not talk about that and focus on other things going on with the offense and the defense that won't get picked apart. And the other part that really stood out to me, guys, is sort of the growth that McDaniel is outlining here, how Tua is fluent in the verbiage of the offense this year. We typically see a jump for quarterbacks entering year 2 in the offense, as they get sort of comfortable, they gain a mastery of the system, all of that. And that's kind of a scary proposition to think about for the rest of the league with Tua, because yes, injuries took off the shine he had last season, I think, but let's not forget what he was able to do. And I just want to remind everybody, because we are a positive celebratory show, and that's what we're doing with Tua. He led the league in pretty much every efficiency category and ranked in the top 5 in yards per game. And that was while dealing with concussions, while getting comfortable with the new system, while facing those corners in the AFC East. Come on. I don't think this was a one and done product of a system. McDaniel coached him up and fixed him. It was a fluke. None of that. I think people are going to figure that out this year, and we'll see some special things with him. So we're all for Tua, and we're all for that AFC East and where they can go. And I said on this show that if they stay healthy, they can go all the way. And if they add Dalvin Cook, they bring the Florida boy home. Come on, it might be in the bank. Unless, of course, Marcus Williams has something to say about that. I got to talk to you about this Madden thing, because y'all got Patrick Queen, your backup. What were they thinking with this Madden footage yesterday?
Man.
We'll get to it. I mean, I love this player as a Saint, so you know I support him as a Raven. And as you can see, Marcus Williams has a youth football camp coming up here to talk about that, about his 5 seasons in New Orleans, about his new time being a leader in the locker room for Kyle Hamilton. Here he is, 19 career interceptions already and counting. Mr. Safety Marcus Williams, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot to talk about, but tell me about this youth football camp and how people can get in on it. It's in California, right? June 17th?
It's June 17th. This is actually my 5th youth football camp. But this is probably going to be the best one because it's the next one. But yeah, this is one of the best camps I think out here in Southern California, just because it's mine. But I have a lot of good people that do a lot of hard work to get this camp up and running for the youth, to give back to our community, to show the kids that we're there for them, and we're there to just inspire, motivate, and lift them up, and show them that we are here, that they can touch us, that they can ask us questions, and that we're just like them, and to show them that they can be anything they want to be if they put their mind to it. So yeah, this is a big camp for us, our 5th one, and we're excited, definitely.
Awesome. We're going to get that info out on our Twitter page for you to get as many kids out there in the community. I'll say this. We had Darius Butler on yesterday. We have him on every week, and we were looking at footage of Jamar Chase just clowning a kid, doing a backflip and the gritty and the whole thing. And Darius Butler loves like mossing kids out there and like beating the brakes off them. Do you do that out there with these kids?
Man, when I'm out there, I'm usually intercepting the quarterbacks like I'm still playing. I try to strip the ball from them if they're running down. It's just teaching them. It's teaching them, but we're having fun at the same time. But yeah, I definitely do that. Have fun with them. Go out there, do some drills with them. We have obstacle courses, tug of war, stuff like that, just so we can all have a good time. And it is a great time though. But we love doing that stuff for our communities.
you're like, yo, John Harbaugh, there's this kid. He's a safety DB. You got to get your eyes on him. 5 years. He's got to be on our team. I love that. Listen, we have to talk about Madden. I'm not a Madden player, but the new trailer came out yesterday. Listen, first let's take a look at this trailer, because what is EA Sports doing to the Ravens here? You got Allen as the cover boy, but at the expense of your team? What?
Nah, they ain't doing it. They know that's not even real. That's not real. They just doing. Why they gotta do us like that? Cause Gino gonna run him over and PQ. He gonna take him out. So I don't know.
Okay, Patrick Queen. I don't know. Patrick Queen gets trucked, and he wasn't happy about it, okay? He did not get excited about being featured in the video. His tweet was, how did I get signed up to be the one ran over on the release video? It's a fair question to Patrick. And then you mentioned Geno Stone. That's your backup. Like, are you relieved that they used him, not you?
Man, listen, I don't want them to play any of us on there. So I'm not relieved by none of that. If it's happening to him, it's happening to me. We together as one. So I mean, I think he the same outcome gonna come. Like Gino's gonna hit him off his feet, and PQ gonna hit him off his feet. I think PQ put up a video too when Josh Allen was running and he tackled him. So I don't know. I don't know if that's really realistic.
Listen, we'll post the video. I'll just say this. This is a nice chip on your shoulder. First of all, Lamar Jackson maybe should be on the cover instead of Josh Allen, just saying. And then now you got a bit of a chip on your shoulder. If you play them, if you whatever, to sort of to make this happen, because you guys can, I know Patrick Queen. He's not going to like what he saw in that video. Now, I know you're working out already. You're staying aggressive. I know you're doing a youth football camp, but that's incredible because it's something you're doing while you're trying to get ready for this season. It's a huge season. And all the reports, my friend, out of OTAs, you're making the plays. You are all over. You're being aggressive. You're all over the field. I know you had a wrist injury last season. How are you feeling going into year 2 with the Ravens?
Man, I'm feeling great. That was a little bump in the road. I face adversity all the time. It's nothing new to me. After my injury, I came back 7 games later, and I had an interception right away. So I mean, I feel like I didn't skip a beat, and I feel like once I come back this year, it's gonna be the same thing. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make plays, just like I always do. I mean, I've been doing this since I was a rookie, and it's not gonna stop. So I'm gonna keep making plays regardless of wrist injury or anything like that. That's just the type of person I am.
It's true. You're also a bit of a leader in that locker room, which I love to see. You're only there a year, but Kyle Hamilton, you two have been building chemistry. You're a solid and solidified, certified, dynamic safety duo back there, and he recently spoke to the media about you. Take a listen.
Marcus is one of the best in our league. It sucks that he was hurt a good amount of last year because y'all saw what he did before and after the injury and how great he is on the field. But just having somebody like that in the room every single day, he's been through it. This is year 7, I think, for him, so he's getting old.
Did I hear him call you old?
Man, we're almost about the same age. So I don't know. I'm not getting old. Maybe I'm getting older in football years. Yeah, I'm year 7, so I'm a vet now. So I guess you could say that. But we're about the same age. So, but it's good. Kyle's a great young safety coming up. He's always willing to learn and get better day in and day out, and that's what I love about him. He's not the type of person that you tell him something, he's like, no, I'm not doing it. No, he's like, okay, I want to get better because I want to be great too. So it's great, stepping up. I feel like I've always been that type of leader who can, anybody can talk to me and anybody can tell me something too, because, you can't just try to tell people stuff and you can't take criticism yourself. So it's always good to learn from him as well, and seeing the type of player he is, I can learn from that as well. But it's definitely great having him out there and having him learn and get better day in and day out at OTAs. You can see his growth already. And just from the beginning of the season last year to the end of the season, he had tremendous growth, and it's very encouraging to see going into year 2 for him.
What's the one thing, if you were to be specific, that you saw grow with him over the year?
Man, I think it's just his confidence. He went out there, he just played loose. And when you see that type of player just being aggressive, going to make plays, not worrying about, social media and stuff like that, it can get to you, but I think, always being a first rounder, it's like all that pressure on you. But, I don't think he let it get to him. He had that confidence, that swagger. He went out there and played, have fun. And when you can have a player do that, going into the end of the year, it's very encouraging.
Another thing that's encouraging, Marcus, is Lamar Jackson. It's a big story. We got to talk about your quarterback. I'm so happy it got figured out finally. Woo! Now, the only time I know... Woo! For real. But listen, now he's loaded. Now he's got Zay. Now he's got Odell. Now he's got hopefully a healthy Rashad. Now he might get DeAndre. We don't even know what's going on. But you faced him just once in your career, right? It was his rookie season. It was a long time ago. It was 2018. But now you're going up against him every day in practice. And now he's got these receivers. What am I expecting in 2023 from Lamar Jackson?
Man, I don't want to give you too much, but Lamar, everybody knows Lamar. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback in the league. But he's a dynamic quarterback, and now he has, a whole bunch of weapons surrounding him. And, those are some great receivers that you named. So we got receivers, running backs. We got a tight end and Mark Andrews, who's really dominant. Then we got our quarterback, Lamar, man. It's going to be an exciting year. I think it's going to be an exciting year. Everybody come back healthy. Everybody coming back ready to play. We have a chip on our shoulder. We want to win. We want to win this all, man. So I think it's very it's going to be a very exciting season to see what we have planned.
I like that. I like the chip on the shoulder thing will work for y'all. If y'all can stay healthy, that will be the key. But a lot of that chip on your shoulder is because you got these Bengals that everybody's talking about, your AFC North rivals, and they knock you out of the playoffs. Y'all want revenge. But if I look back at that game, and I did this morning, Joe Burrow, you helped hold him to 209 yards in that game, okay, through the air. What's the key to shutting down Joe Burrow?
We just lock into our keys. We just do what we see on film. We go in that film room, we go out and practice, and we study it, and then it translates to the game. All week we lock in and go over what we need to go over, and it's just that that mental and that physical stuff that comes. You got to do it one play at a time. I think that was our biggest focus, one play at a time, and if stuff happens, it happens. But the next play is going to be the best play. So. It's a good rivalry. We play every game the same. We go out at the first game the same way we go out as the last game, and we're trying to win. We're trying to dominate.
You play them week 2. I mean, some would say that y'all would have won that game if Lamar was playing. Are you one of those people?
I say it's the next man up mentality. We don't say what if this person was playing, what if that person was playing. No, the guys that are on the field are always capable of going out there and accomplishing and getting the job done. So, we had our Snoop was in there, and he goes out there every single game and does what he's supposed to do. He practices like a starter, and that's what every guy in that locker room does. They practice as if they're a starter because they never know. So I think if Snoop, if the defense didn't give up any points, the Bengals wouldn't win. So. At the end of the day, it's on both of us. We score, our offense scores, our defense stops them from scoring. So if we give them 0 points, they don't win. So we can't say if Lamar Jackson played or if this quarterback played. No, everybody's willing and capable to do it.
Listen, this locker room is lucky to have you because these are absolute gems you're saying. It's exactly how you want a leader and a veteran to talk. So shut up, Kyle Hamilton. He's not old. He's just older. And he knows his stuff. Now, last year, every week of this season, Marcus, we had a visit with Mark Ingram. And he's literally one of my favorite people on earth. And you are boys with him. You guys vacation together. And so I would need to know what that is like, traveling with him. Because you guys are on a boat, you're on ATVs, you're swimming in a cave. What is this, Colombia? You guys went to Colombia?
Man, that's my brother. That's not even Colombia. That's the Dominican. But that's my brother. He's one of the best guys that I've ever met. He's always there for me when I need him, no matter what it is. Even when I was going through, my franchise tag and stuff like that, I was having a hard time, and he was there for me every step of the way. So whenever I call him, He picks up the phone, and he's that person in the locker room that you're like, we need him, because he's that big energy guy, that person that's gonna be there for you no matter what. That person's gonna lift you up, give you those tips. I'm sorry, I got people in the backyard doing.
It's okay.
But he's one of the best people I've ever met.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should get him back to Baltimore. Let him run it back. No retiring, Mark. Stop pretending you might walk away, Mark.
As much as you think that, this man has so much juice in the tank. I feel like he's still one of the most dynamic quarterbacks. His aggressiveness, his speed, he's still fast. If you see the way he trains, I feel like any team that gets him, hopefully it's us, they got a great one. But he has a lot of juice left in the tank, and I want him to go out there and show it, because that's just what he does.
I hope listen, I'm still waiting for Sean Payton to call him. I know Dalvin Cook's available, so Sean might be looking at him, but you want to help Russell Wilson. Sean, Mark Ingram, link up, bring him back to Denver. I think he has a lot to give. How much do you think Sean's going to turn this Denver team around?
Man, Sean's a great coach. Anybody who has a coach like that is bound to, win some games. So having a leader as Sean to help turn around your program, I think they're gonna turn it around this year. Now, I don't know if they're gonna beat us, but I think they're gonna have a good run with him. He knows what he's doing. He knows his X's and O's, and I think it's gonna be a great year for them.
I love that. Okay, we're going to play a quick game here. Thank you so much for your time and talking to you. And it's just so fun that I've been such a fan for so long, and I can't wait to see what you do on the field this year. We thought we'd have some fun with this Madden thing, right? Madden has their ratings coming out soon. So I hear you're a gamer. Is that right?
I play little games, some Call of Duty and stuff.
Okay. Well, we're going to do Marcus ratings for the 2024 season, all right? And with this game, we're going to ask you about some random people and things and have you assign them whatever your Marcus rating is, so from 0 to 100. Deal?
Deal.
Okay. What rating would you assign to Mark Ingram's speed in Madden 24?
Mark Ingram's speed? Sure, he probably getting like a 97.
97, that's jaded. Oh, come on, we gotta be more objective than this. What about the overall rating for Mark Ingram's daughter playing flag football? She's insane.
She's ridiculous. She's probably 99 already. Look at the juke. Watch this. Watch this juke. Oh, yeah, all the way back to a jump cut. Come on. The speed, that's ridiculous. Outrunning everybody. She's crazy. I love it.
Sean Payton's like, come play for me. How would you rate Myles Garrett's dunking ability? Take a look. Do we have it? Here we go.
That was kind of weak. Let me see. He's like 6'8". Let's see.
What are you giving it?
And this still out of 100?
Yeah.
I'd give him an 85.
If you were an offensive player in your division, you would never give him an 85. You'd give him a 97. Okay. Next up, Joe Burrow's hair. Marcus, have you seen it? I need you to give it your Marcus rating. It's crazy.
0.
Why?
I don't know what's going on. It was like he just got out the shower and just like shook it off and just went off stage.
Easy now. You got to play him week 2, I think.
That's okay. I don't have a filter.
Do you talk to him out there?
Listen, I just go out there and play. I don't have to do too much trash talk. I just play. But listen. If he met me in person, I would tell him the same thing. There's no bad blood or anything. But listen, the hair.
How about Marcus Williams? Give yourself a rating. They gave you an 87 in 2023. What are you for 2024?
Man, I should be in the 90-something. I'll probably be like a 96. I should be like a 96. I don't know why I'm 86. I mean, I had 19 interceptions in 6 years. I missed 7 games last year. Still have 4 interceptions.
Ooh.
I mean, listen, it is what it is. But hey,
listen, I'm with it. 96 rating sounds good. Marcus Williams, we appreciate you so much. Good luck with your youth football camp. Good luck with Kyle Hamilton, because I bet you need to call him and tell him, excuse me, I'm not old, my friend. But we appreciate you so much. Thanks, Marcus.
thank you so much for having me.
Good to talk to you. We'll check in with you, and maybe we'll eat some Maryland crab cakes down the line in this season. Coming up, shout out to Jimmy Seafood, by the way. We've got an old friend. All right, my next guest, look, that's a look. I love that. He's an old friend of mine, okay? He's the podcast co-host of the Mismatch and the NBA Draft Show, which you can check out on The Ringer. And guess what? He's also part of our FanDuel family, hosting Beyond the Arc on FanDuel TV. Here to talk Heat, Nuggets, NBA Finals, my old friend Kevin O'Connor!
What's going on, Kay? How are you doing? Last time we saw each other, what was it? Back at the Comcast Sportsnet studios way back in the day?
Literally like 2015, probably. I'm, eating my body weight in Sour Patch Kids and like running around that studio, crashing NFL players' cars in the parking lot. I don't know if you were there that day. But we've come a long way, my friend. We're declaring victory here because we've come a long way since our first job, which we both love and respect and had so much fun, Comcast Sportsnet New England. What do you remember from those days?
I just remember working on the desk. I was an intern. You were with our good friend Tommy Karin, and I remember my first time actually ever like me appearing on TV was like in a bit with you for that show. Oh, this is it right here on the screen, and yes, there's me right there. You're Belichick. There I am. There's Tom. Yeah, that's one of my highlights. I remember showing that to my parents. They were like, "Oh my God, Kevin, there you are!" Very exciting to be in that video.
Oh my gosh, I'm pretending I'm Bill Belichick. We had so much fun doing that. And I love that that's the first time you are on national TV, and clearly not the last because you're crushing it. But you're a Boston guy, so let's start there. We're talking NBA. I'm dabbling. I won my first bet last night. No big deal. Don't worry. Wow. With Bam and Joker, and they all look so crazy. But with Boston stuff, rank Boston sports teams currently. I asked Gronk about this. But the Bruins, they have the best regular season in team history. Celtics have been close to the finals the past couple of years. Red Sox, they've been okay. And then there's the Patriots. Are the Pats now the forgotten child in Boston?
I mean, for what it's worth, my Boston sports over the years, like I know the most about the NBA now. Other sports have just taken a big back seat for me because I'm so focused on basketball. So I'm less in touch with those sports. So I need to catch up like you did, Kay, with NBA. But I think the Celtics still are number one, despite how this season ended. I mean, they still had a great regular season. They still have Tatum and potentially bring back Brown. They're number one still. The Patriots, Mac Jones still has a lot to prove. I do think you're right that they're a bit forgotten. They did have one of the best defenses in the second half of last year. So maybe Patriots put them 3 behind the Bruins. How can you move the Bruins any further down, considering the fact that they did have a historic regular season and upsets happen in hockey. Granted, that's one of the worst ones in NHL history. And I don't know where the Red Sox are. I haven't watched a single baseball game despite how short they are right now. So I'll put the Red Sox 4th.
I love it. Now, we're going to get into the finals, but you mentioned the Celtics. They've got a big offseason. What are they going to do?
I think it starts with Jaylen Brown. We already know Joe Mazzulla is going to be back. The front office through their support behind him. My understanding is that Brown is in all likelihood going to be back in Boston. There's still a lot to figure out. Things can shake out over the coming weeks, so there's nothing solid here. But I would expect the Celtics to offer Jaylen Brown the 5-year, $295 million Supermax and play it out this season. And with Tatum and Brown, make some, shuffles around the edges on the roster, see how it goes. And then if they do sign Brown to that 5-year max this summer, next offseason in 2024, that's the time that Boston could get creative with potential deals. Because if Jaylen were signed under contract, then any team in the league might be willing to trade for him. Whereas right now, this offseason, only teams that feel like they have a strong probability of re-signing Jaylen are actually going to trade for him. So it's limited options this summer for Boston compared to running it back and then seeing how it is next summer.
Totally. And that's just something that the NFL is missing. I live in this world. It's king. I love it. But we don't have max or super max. It's such a badass term. Besides, we have like franchise tag, stupid, tender. Like, no, like we need cool badass phrases like that, Goodell. Let's go. Silver knows what he's doing. Let's get some Supermax action in the NFL. Let's talk about the finals. What a freaking performance. Oh my gosh, Joker, Jamal Murray. They become the first duo in NBA history to each drop a triple-double in the same NBA Finals game. Not just any kind of triple-double, I understand, a 30-point triple-double, which is super special. So tell me, of all the famous finals duos, so put this into context. You know, you've got LeBron, Kyrie, Michael, and Scottie. Where does this duo performance rank in NBA Finals history?
I mean, it's up there in terms of, great finals duos performances. We've never seen this before. And the fact Jokic did what he did for the first time in finals history, even without factoring in Murray's own performance, 32 points, 21 rebounds, 10 assists. No player has done that in finals history before. Jokic has done it 3 times now in the playoffs, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain being the others. I mean, like those are, 10 to 15 of the greatest players in NBA history that Jokic has thrown his name into, and he's already breaking Wilt records all the time during the season. These guys in the finals with what they're doing, that 2-man game, they ran more pick and rolls than they have the entire postseason together. Their dribble handoff game, their 2-man game is unstoppable. There's nothing you can do as a defense. I think it's up there. It's hard to put it, in context with so many great performances by Jordan and Pippen being in so many finals, Magic and Kareem, Kobe and Shaq, Steph and Clay, Bird and McHale, LeBron and Wade. I mean, Duncan, Parker, or Ginobili. There's so many great duos in league history. But it's just that one last night watching the game, Kay, like I thought it felt like one of those performances that is going to go down if they win it as one of those definitive performances, legacy-defying performances, considering just how special and unstoppable those guys were. It felt like the start of defining their legacy to me more than anything.
Wow, that's really beautifully said. You could have just said they're not as good as Michael and Scottie, because that's what I think. I don't even know what's going on. But listen, we're talking about, this Joker thing. He's just a walking triple-double. He's like insane. And I get the the unwillingness or there's no reason to like rank and do all of that, but put into terms to me that I can understand in a world of Duncans and in a world of Shaqs. Like, are we watching the most skilled big man in NBA history right now?
I think that's fair to say. I do. I mean, when you factor in like this dude is 7 feet tall and he's arguably the greatest passer in league history. I mean, he's up there with a Magic Johnson in terms of like the greatest playmakers in NBA history. I think when you factor in like just how unique he is as a big man, that answer is yes. And I mean, now he's being stacked up in the class of these guys. Like if he wins the finals, does he surpass a Charles Barkley, a Karl Malone, 2 guys who never won titles in the all-time rankings? Does he even surpass a Kevin Garnett type who does win a finals with the Celtics years ago, but never really reached the peaks of Jokic? Where does he stack up against a Dirk? How far does he rise on the all-time rankings? Factoring in his elite skill level, you're talking about the two MVPs, the 1 Finals MVP that he would likely win if the Nuggets do finish this off. I mean, like, what was it? 2 years ago, the NBA did their 75th year anniversary list, and Jokic wasn't on that. And I know my boss, Bill Simmons, did have him on his list. I think somewhere in the top 50, if I remember correctly. Okay. I mean, he's won an MVP since then, could win in finals. This guy is proving he belongs up there in kind of the quote unquote pantheon of the league's greatest players. So I'm glad that people are seeing this guy for the first time in a lot of cases. Like, I mean, how is he not the biggest basketball player in the world, the most popular? Like, I don't know. It blows my mind.
Tell me. I'd like to know why. I'm a little familiar with Stan Kroenke. He's going for his first NBA championship. I ran into him, honestly, a couple of weeks ago and asked him what it would mean to him, and he said it's the one. He owns tons of sports teams, all different sports. This is the one he wants more than anything, and he knows that Joker's the key to that. Why isn't Joker celebrated, talked about? Why is it a conversation of whether or not he should be the MVP when he's doing this kind of stuff? What is it?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a mixture of things. It's, Nuggets games, they don't even air locally on certain stations with Altitude TV. I mean, nationally, the Nuggets aren't necessarily getting, the most national TV games in the entire league. And Jokic doesn't even get, the amount of, I think, mainstream or national attention that other players do. Like the Nuggets, they just, they don't get the amount of attention that talking about LeBron and the Lakers does, or Tatum and Brown and the Celtics does, or any of those teams. So I think the Nuggets in some, unfortunate way have been kind of just overlooked by, more casual fans of the NBA. I think anybody who's hardcore like knows how special this guy is and how beautiful of a game that he has, and how he can score 32 points and have 21 rebounds and 10 assists last night and make it look easy. Like that's just another Wednesday for him last night. Ultimately, like this dude is that special. But I think, sometimes you also do need to get over the hump, even though he's been to multiple conference finals. Now, this being his first NBA finals ever, sometimes that's what it takes. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily unique to Jokic that players need to prove it by winning a championship or going to a finals in order to reach that level. And now that he's here, I would hope that, with the NBA ratings being as good as they are, though they do seem a bit inflated right now, that he is going to become that guy, that it becomes one of the faces of the league, because he does have such a lovable, easy to watch game that anybody can enjoy.
It's a really thoughtful way, and I just learned a lot. I mean, I knew more about Jokic's brothers than I did him. Like, I knew more about them until this year, honestly, until paying closer attention. That's just true. I'll admit that because I'm not this hardcore NBA fan, but I think you nailed it. It's win. In my world, it's Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. Even though you got there, even though, past your conference and you got to the Super Bowl, you lost, and people still have questions about you. Josh Allen, granted you're on the cover of Madden, you're a star, like get there and make it happen. So it'll be interesting, and they've got to win. Now, I love numbers. You know this. I'm a fantasy gal, so I love the numbers. And here's what I found. 80% of teams win the finals after winning Game 3 when tied 1-1. Denver has the 2-1 series lead. They took back home court advantage. Denver are currently a 3-point fave going into Game 4 tomorrow night. So after everything you've seen, how do you think Game 4 plays out in Miami?
I picked the Nuggets to win this series in 6. I just have so much respect for that Heat team. Just the way in which they've battled through, made adjustments throughout the postseason. I'll go with Miami in this game. Just out of respect for that Heat roster. I don't think they can shoot that poorly from 3 again. They were 11 of 35 in Game 3 last night. I mean, like Max Strus, they got him completely covered up. He takes only 4 3-pointers. I just think Miami and Spoelstra should be able to find some ways to get their 3-point shooters going, because Denver did such a different type of defense last night, and they weren't helping as much on Jimmy Butler on his drives to the basket. They were sticking closer to shooters, making Butler, kind of have to score rather than pass, and he was so inefficient. I'll go Miami Game 4, but I'm still picking Denver in 6. I just think this Heat team is, too tough to lose in 5.
Love that. Now, your podcast and everything you do for FanDuel, it's so deep. You go, I'll trust anything you say, because I'll listen to your stuff and you go, it's like you really go inside basketball. Like it is beyond. So everybody definitely give KOC a listen. But you also, your wheelhouse is NBA scouting. I remember that from literally back in 2015. You're like writing blurbs and stuff, but it's so nitty gritty and you know your stuff. And this 2023 draft class has a legit generational talent in this 7-2 Frenchie, right? So do you see this being, a smooth, Luka-esque, Joker-type transition to the NBA? And what were your initial thoughts when you first had your eyes on him?
I think with Wemby, it's going to be smooth with the Spurs because they have some existing talent on that roster. Greg Popovich, the system that he has built in that organization, they know how to accommodate a star. And for Victor Wembanyama, I think it's a great situation for him to go into. And with Wemby, I was at the game last October in Nevada when he faced off against the G League Ignite and Scoot Henderson. And I mean, like, you had watched videos of Wemby at the time playing overseas, and you're wild and amazed by this guy. But my impressions the first time actually seeing him in person, it's like, this dude is actually real. It's like seeing the Loch Ness Monster. It's like just seeing something for the first time that you don't think is real, and it is. And here this guy is that special, that real, that unstoppable. I mean, it's only been more of those moments over the course. So you're like, remember when he had the step back 3-pointer that he missed, and then he followed it up with a dunk? Like he dunked his own missed step back 3-pointer. I mean, it's just been one of those moments, one after another, where you're just like, I've never seen this before, and that's just the feeling Wembanyama makes you feel, and he's going to do that with the NBA with a lot of people who aren't on social media, who aren't watching him all the time, and now we're going to get to see him in the NBA.
God, Michelle Beadle will be so excited. She's part of our FanDuel family, of course, on Run It Back. Big Spurs gal. So to get Wemby number 1 overall will be absolutely incredible. Okay, you made your picks. Everybody go over to FanDuel Sportsbook and hang out there and have some fun. And also check out Beyond the Arc on FanDuel TV. From The Ringer, Kevin O'Connor. Started from NBC Sports Boston. Now we're here. We'll be back right on Up and Adams in a second. Thanks, Kev. Got exciting stuff going on. Hey, everybody, listen. This Saturday is the Champions League final, and I am going to give you a gift because I love you and this could be fun. It is a special token boost on FanDuel. It's a profit token. It's kind of like a gift card. So Up and Adams is giving all customers 30% profit boost token to use on any of these FanDuel Champions League specials. It's a special tab on the website. It's really unique. And it's, of course, Man City, who took care of business up against Madrid, Hamilton, and they face Inter Milan on June 10th. So head on over to FanDuel Sportsbook. You can claim that profit boost token. It's probably in your email. And it's exciting, 30% boost on for your winnings. So the app is really easy to use, and when you win, you can get paid instantly. So if you aren't part of it, download it and claim the Up and Adams profit boost. And this game is in Istanbul. They're telling people to arrive 9 hours early. It's going to be crazy, one against the other. And some of these specials are pretty cool.
Yeah, there's over 100 different specials that you can pick from to use the profit boost tokens on. And there are a couple that I know you'd be interested in. They have a lefty special, either Erling Haaland from Man City or Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan to score. That's minus 195 right now. Or any player to score a header, you get plus 150 on.
Ooh, I like that. I like Lukaku as well. He's got a good one on there. Go check it out at FanDuel Sportsbook. We will be back, but you're welcome. We love you. All right, you've got a profit boost token over on FanDuel to go claim on UEFA specials. Go do that. And also, I'm just going to wrap up our week by saying Iga Świątek, she's in the semis. You did it last year. You got it, babe. Let's do it again. Bravo, Iga! Have a good weekend. We'll be back on Monday.